Hey guys, welcome back to another Disney Pixar Connection video. Easter eggs. Oh my goodness, our Hidden Holidays is kicking off. What? We are on a roll. We're having fun. We are on Home Alone 2, another must watch. Now, there's a lot about this movie that I absolutely love. First of all, I am a New Yorker. Well, I was not born here because if you guys follow me on TikTok, I do talk about my adoption. I was born in Kansas, moved here when I was 3 days old. Anyway, I am no longer living in New York City. No, my neighborhood was not shown in this movie. It was actually shown in Spider-Man. When I get to that, I will talk about it, but it's a pretty cool scene. Anyway, I love this because there are lots of areas that I do obviously recognize from this film. Same thing with Soul. Not going to cover Soul during this month for the holidays, but I will cover it soon. There are pieces that I want to talk about. Anyway, there's two scenes that I absolutely adore. If you can guess them down below, just try. I will tell you at the very end because I find them funny. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Now, if you guys don't remember from the first one, they are set in Chicago. In the first film, they're going to Paris. But in this one, they were originally heading to Florida. However, we know that Kevin ends up in New York somehow, right? So they go through the airport thing. He gets lost. And then we have this clip where the airport van hits the statue in front, which is a Easter egg to the first film when the pizza guy hit the thing in front. Yeah, I know. It's they should move the statue, just honestly. Then we have magazines that are very common, like Cosmopolitan, and the Good Housekeeping. We also have a very popular newspaper, the Chicago Tribune, which again we know that this begins in Chicago, so it makes sense. But also notice the bandits. This is what sets up the film, are the Wet Bandits from the first film. So we know something's gonna happen with these two. And then we have this clip where Kevin's on the plane. He completely blocks out everything that's happening because the guy who's sitting next to him is speaking French. Again, a play off the first film when he was supposed to be heading to Paris with his family. But instead, he takes the wrong plane. He ends up in New York, and here are some clips that we see throughout the film where we have the Empire State Building, the 59th Street Bridge, Rockefeller Center, and Radio City Hall, the Empire Diner. He was in Chinatown, Battery Park City. You'll also notice there is the Statue of Liberty, the Twin Towers. Obviously, this was filmed before 2001. We have the Brooklyn and the Manhattan Bridge here. This is more downtown, closer to, I'm losing my brain. Downtown. It's just downtown. He was looking at all this from above, at this point from the top of the Twin Towers observation deck, which obviously is not around, but there is now the One World Trade observation deck. I have yet to try it. Just fair warning for you guys. Then for a few minutes, it switches over to the Wet Bandits' point of view, where they are in the meat packing district, which is the west side, like 20s, 30s. It's not so much like that anymore. This is how it was when I grew up, but we saw Kevin walk by, so we know Kevin has traveled quite a lot in just a short few hours, which is a lot for a kid alone, let alone a kid that's alone in a city he does not know. There's a lot in there. And now he's finally at the Plaza Hotel. He's going to get a room. We see the former President Trump. Not to be political, but I always liked this particular scene because I actually boo him even before he was president. I just not a big Trump person. Unfortunately, I've met him in person and he is not as nice as you think he is. All right, that being said, we also have some very famous people. We have Tim Curry as well as Rob Schneider. So, little fun fact on Rob Schneider is I grew up with his daughter, Elle King, who is now a famous singer. We went to middle school together. So, fun fact on that. But there is a funny meme where it depends on how you were first introduced to Tim Curry. And this one, it's funny because this was the first film I did know him from, but I recognize him more, I should say, from Rocky Picture Horse, whatever that movie is. I'm really losing my words today. Okay, and then in this little clip, Cedric, aka Rob Schneider, mentions that Herbert Hoover stayed in this room, in this suite. This will come back in Home Alone 3. So bear that in mind. And then we have a list of old films that Kevin will be watching, including this classic where we know the very line. Let me know down below if you memorized it. Then we have this quick scene, the shower scene, which, by the way, is hilarious. Again, comes in handy with Home Alone 3. But there's a scene in Home Alone where, it was Home Alone 3 only. Sorry. Easter Egg to the Grinch, which was not a Disney movie, but fair enough, it is a classic Christmas film. Then we have the Wet Bandits in Central Park ice skating. And then I just want to mention the Toy Story was based off a FAO Shorts, which is no longer around, which is really sad. It was an awesome store, but for anyone asking, that's where it was filmed. And then during the initial chase where the Wet Bandits were chasing Kevin again, they went through Central Park, and this particular area is called Bethelda. It is where the fountain is. There's also Alice in Wonderland on the other side. FYI, a little Easter egg on that one too. And then we have Times Square, which obviously has updated in the last 20 years. And lastly, it ends in Rockefeller Center with the beautiful tree. Okay, that was fun, right? So, as I mentioned, I am from New York. I grew up in New York. I love this because there were a lot of recognizable areas, none of which I lived in, but I hung out there. I've been all up and through there. I will go back to New York City soon and video when and where I'm at, and like where it relates to in relation to Disney movies. I'll do like a whole geographical, I don't know if that's the word. Anyway, I'll do a whole video specialized in that. I think that would be really, really fun. I don't know when that's going to be, honestly. I had a few trips planned and then they kind of fell through on that matter, but soon, probably the new year, so it won't be Christmas time, but yeah. Anyway, my two favorite scenes are, drumroll, the shower scene and the pigeon lady. There's something about the pigeon lady that just gets me. Anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow for our next Hidden Holidays.